Hello, everyone, and welcome to the After H show. You're through with a Deseret Large and Author panel, and today we have a special guest all the way in my hometown. Yes, the UK. We have the reggae queen in the UK. It is Shezzie from Brown Sugar. But before we meet Shezzie, we're going to meet some of our remaining rest of our panelists. We've got DJ Boozadelic. DJ Boozadelic, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Odessa?
I am well, thank you. I am well, alive and kicking. And, that's just how it is right now. I'm just grateful for life and health and strength. That's what I'm grateful for. Yeah.
I
And
hear that. Every morning when I wake up, I pay my gratitudes and for the abundance and life lessons I've learned and all the abundance I've yet to receive. Because each and every day that we wake up in our in this earthly form as a human is amazing.
it really is. And, and it sounds like an old cliche, doesn't it? Like, tomorrow's not promised. So just enjoy today.
Yeah.
Enjoy today. Enjoy today, and just live well. Live well. Live as
Yeah.
best as you can.
Yeah, I saw this post this morning on Facebook this morning. Speaking of that, and that resurfaces. It seems like always at the right time, but it shows all these people on the line and like they're kind of floating off into the sky. And it talks about how we're all in line. There's no cutting. There is no going back. At some point, it's going to happen, and it just shows us all flying away, and like how we need to make the most of this life that we have here. And it's like that was I really needed to see that. I've been going through a lot lately, with loss and with my son and everything. But I mean, I know that he's in that next dimension right now, and he'd made the most out of his time here.
Oh, most definitely. And I can relate to you on a different level, on a different level. I've had bereavement recently, and it just reminds me just to really connect and love the people that are here and to take care of myself as well.
Yeah,
you know, to take care of myself, and I love music, as you know. I love what we do, but also to just like dress back, just step back sometimes, and just remember I am a human being. And that's as a human being, and to take care of myself, give myself treats, rest. I think that was my number one thought. Not enough rest. You know that, Booster Day.
I
You're
was about to say. I thought you told me you had a 10 p.m. cutoff, and I don't think you've been sticking to that unless you have lately.
it's been a bit wobbly, the 10 p. But it's a big improvement from what it was before. I was just
Yeah,
some crazy hours, I was like consistently going to sleep and bed like some crazy hours, like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got work and I got to do the radio, and I got to do this and I got to do that, and I got a home life and I got miss myself. It. Yeah, yeah. So I might not go bed exactly 10 o'clock. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. It's more frequent. Sometimes I've gone bed 9 o'clock.
okay, good for you. Because
Sometimes I have, and sometimes maybe not 10, maybe more 11 or half 11. Okay, half 11. But it's a big improvement than before, because before, the bags were coming under my eyes, and I had to just like take care of myself. So I don't want bags under my eyes. I don't want the carrier bags under my eyes. No, thank you. That's not a good look. I don't want I'm not ready for that look right now.
Nah, that wouldn't be becoming of you right now.
No, no, no. And it was coming. It's crazy how you don't notice these things, and then one day you do notice it. It's like it just comes overnight, but it's not. It hasn't come overnight. It's been coming, but maybe you're not realized it. You don't even noticed it. You know.
Yeah, I gave up on that years ago because I think back when I used to work this crazy swing shift, and then I get off at 11, but then it was like I still wanted to hang out. And at the time when I was dating, it would be like, heck, I wouldn't even hook up with the lady I was dating until around midnight. And so then all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I got to be at work at 3 o'clock the next afternoon. And shoot, I was definitely not getting my 7 hours of sleep in. And the older I get now, I realize the more important it is to try to get that 6 or 7 hours.
It really is important. And you know what? Right? It's like I don't know how these players do it. You know. Uh, you players out there, please. You know, Adassa wants to know how do you do it? How do you like be up like these crazy hours and then you're going home crazy hours? I think is it really? And the question is it really worth it?
Well,
Living
if I can answer that because if
like
you go based on your ego, yes, it's worth it. But it's just a short term thing. But if you
it
think
has.
about the long term and the overall picture, it's horrible for you. Matter of fact, I saw a doctor one time and he was saying, "When do you sleep?" And I was telling him, he said, "That's crazy." He said, "You're gonna kill yourself before your time."
Players, you're going to kill yourself
Yeah.
before that. Stop
So
it. Find somebody, and it can go either way. You could be a female player, you could be a male player, but you know your playing days catch up with you. It's like just don't do it, please don't do it. It's
yeah.
like it's too crazy, you know. And you know who's commented? Somebody's commented. Oh, Ladon, the chameleon, has said hello to us. Yes,
And
hello, Ladon, the
it,
chameleon. Good evening going out to you, my darling. Send it out to all your friends, all your family. Let them know about the After Eight show with all the crew featuring Chezzy today. And Chezzy is eagerly awaiting in the background. So, for those of you who do not know who Shezzie is a well known reggae artist in the predominantly in the UK and internationally, may I add, internationally throughout Africa and the West Indies as well. And she used to be in a group called Brown Sugar that had many hits. And it's just really an honor to be able to have her on the show today and to for her to, you know, have a chat with us and to also share her new releases as well. It's It's lovely. And she came to fame, well, one of the big records that she came to fame with Brown Sugar, with Black Pride. Oh, and you know, on this show, we always talking about Black Pride on this show. And and you know what? I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it until Gary comes to play that song, right? Because you know what Gary's like. Oh, he likes to roll up his sleeves and get really dug in, really dug
oh
in.
yeah.
Oh yes, but we're gonna play one of Chezzie's more recent releases, and then we're gonna bring her on the platform. Our wonderful Chezzie. But before that, we're going to listen to "Don't Let It," and then Chezzie will come on, talk all about it, and we can get to know the lady herself. Don't let it. This is Shezzie.
Alright, tell them boy, they nobody get covered, cause the fire just get hot too.
Strings, what you stand for. Even when you find things are getting tricky, don't let the system get to your head. You are blind, like as the darkest night. You stand for freedom, which is every man's right. Show them children, show them why we as a nation, we hold our heads up high. Don't let the system go straight to your head, even while you find things are getting dread. No, don't let the system go straight to your head. Don't let it, don't let it, even while you find things are getting dread. Don't you let it now. Don't let the system go straight to your head, even while you find things are getting dread. Now, children, listen, my children, you got this fight. Fight for your freedom, fight with all your might. You know who you believe you got to be. Almighty, I will help you in the victory. You are black, black as the darkest night. You stand for freedom, which is every man's right. Show them children, show them why we as a nation, we hold our heads up high. Don't let the system go straight to your head. No, even while you find things are getting don't dread. You let don't it let the system go straight to your head. Don't let it, even while you find things are getting dread. Don't you let it know. Don't let the system go straight to your head, even while you find things are getting dread. To your head, God is not sleeping, no Jah, no day. Don't let the system get to your head. Never let the system label you a victim. I'ma raise you as a rich king. All my brothers and my sisters, it's time to realize God is always watching from the sky. It's time to organize, participating in the race of life, yeah. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. No Jah, no day. Don't let the system get to you. Don't let it go. Remember, don't let it go.
Wow, that was a beautiful Shezzie. Yeah. That was.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful. I think because you was in the background before, and then I have to bring you on board. Yes.
Yeah.
It's lovely to have you on the show, Shezzie.
Yes, Adassa, it's so lovely to be with you, Queen. Miss Queenie.
And you know what? Time goes really quickly because the last time I spoke to you, can you believe it? It's like about nearly 2 years, about 1.5 years to be precise.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
It just
time
seemed like
flies.
yesterday.
Time flies. But you're still looking as young as ever.
Oh, thank you. And you are looking beautiful and lovely as well. I'm so glad
Oh,
you're doing well. Oh. I try. I try,
trying in
Shezzie.
my old age.
We're all trying in our older age.
Yeah.
No, don't say that. Don't say it like that. Just say we are like fine wine. We get
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
We get better.
I don't know if I'm brave enough to say that about myself, but I'll accept
Yes,
you
say
saying
it. Say it. Receive it. Receive
it. Mm.
it. So Shezzie, this is DJ Boosadelic. Boosadelic, meet Shezzie. Shezzie is a reggae artist.
Greetings, DJ Boozadelic.
Greetings. I played Shezzie's music on the Saturday Vibrations program before.
Ah,
Wow,
yes.
thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Yep, I'm a big fan of reggae music, so
Great, great.
DJ Boosadelic has a reggae show every Saturday, the Saturday Vibration Show, from
Uh-huh.
8 p.m. till 10 p.m. And he plays all types of independent, predominantly independent reggae, but he plays other reggae as well. And it's a
Beautiful.
great show, very lively, great show. So yeah, DJ
And where are you
Boosadelic,
based? Where are you
some
based?
more music coming your way.
I'm in the I'm on the west coast of the United States in a Pacific Northwest town, a city called Portland, Oregon.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Good.
And there will be more of us joining throughout the
Mm-hmm.
show today. So you'll be hearing that pop up sound, pop, and then another one will come
Okay.
up.
I'll be dipping in and out there because I have to send some grand picnic to bed
Oh,
at 8:30, right? So
okay, the reality of life. Yes.
yes, a bit of reality. So
Well,
uh,
this is
but
what the show is all about, talking about
mm-hmm,
all different types of subject matters, and also just bringing our own personal life into it. And, we're just brothers and sisters having a good old chat and laugh,
mm-hmm.
featuring, celebrating. And that's really what the essence of the show is all about. And then we have guests come each week and help celebrate and talk about all kinds of things, all kinds of serious things,
Good.
non-serious things, just what you do when you're in your own living
I
room.
live near an airport, so you might hear an airplane. If I do that, it
Wow.
means I have something going across, and it might be harder to hear you.
Oh
But
wow!
yeah,
Your home doesn't shake sometimes, does it?
no, not at all, not at all.
It's just the noise.
Mm,
I
mm.
remember I used to go around my friend's house, and she never lived near an airport at all. But I think for some reason the airplanes used to fly low in her area. For some reason.
It's when you're on the flight path. It's not that you're nearby, but if you're on a flight path, then
Ah,
you get that a little bit of disturbance, noise, and but
yeah, because she
you
never
get
lived
used to it.
there. Yeah, yeah, we
Mm,
well, we can't. Even I got used to it. She never lived near an airport at all. But every time the aeroplanes passed their house, they were low. They were very low. Yeah, and it used to always interrupt her Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow.
yeah, I do get some of that sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, you get that interruption as well.
Sometimes it depends where I am. If I'm in the back there in my garden, I can get a little disturbance, but nothing too bad.
Okay.
Nothing significant.
uh,
It's more about the noise levels.
Oh, right. Okay,
Mm,
I understand. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I
we
understand.
get a
mm.
lot of those Air Force jets flying over here because I'm near the National Guard, and so they're always. I don't know, something's getting ready to go on, but they've been practicing a lot lately.
Oh, really? Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Shezzie, we just played Don't Let It. Tell us all about your most recent single.
Oh, don't let it. Well, today's May the 16th,
Hmm.
and it is my sister Carolyn, known as Simi. It's her heavenly birthday. I lost her to cancer in 2015. on the 24th of December 2015,
Mm.
2 days before my birthday, my Boxing Day baby.
Oh.
And she actually wrote that song many, many, many moons ago. And I mean, we're talking a good maybe 40 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And her children who are in the video, her 2 daughters, Sasha and
Oh,
Andrea,
wow.
and that's her son, Timai.
Oh, my goodness.
So in her memory, I recruited them and we said, we're going to do a video in memory of your mum. And it's a song that she used to sing to them when they were little. So they knew the words and everything. And they're talented themselves. And so my tribute to Simi was to do her song for her, to complete it. It wasn't finished in terms of the lyrics fully, but she had the chorus. And yeah, so I did something in her memory with her children
Nice.
in that video.
Beautiful. That is really beautiful.
So that's her song.
Really.
Mm.
So I was wondering, I saw the 2 ladies in behind you. I was thinking they have to be related to you. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if they're your children, but they're definitely related to you. I wasn't sure how the connection.
Yeah, that's my nieces, and Timai, who does the kind of like singing at the end, is her son.
Oh
Those are her 3
my
children.
yes. Oh, he was really good. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and you know, mostly anything that I do is really very personal. If I write something, it's personal. It's always something to do about my surroundings and my life.
Well, we're going to celebrate. We're celebrating. What a beautiful song to celebrate a life, isn't it? Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier on before you came onto the show. You know, just celebrating life, celebrating our own life. You know, there's been a lot of bereavements, and to just be grateful for our existence and for the people remaining. You know that we can visibly see and talk to. You know, and yeah, it comes home. You know, we really got to treasure those people around us as best as we can, as best as we can.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad because our parents' generation are doing good. But, you know, I think when we get to this side of life, unfortunately, you know, I mean, even when you enter your 40s and your 50s and now the 60s, we are losing more and more individuals to the big C, especially cancer. You know, that's a huge epidemic right now, and other things. You know, we just are not living as long, and so yes, you know, I'm happy to reach 62 this year.
Blessings.
You
Oh,
know,
wow.
that's, you know, I'm blessed for every year that I make another year. My sister Sim would have been 66 today.
Oh,
There's
wow.
4 years difference between us. You know, so that's the stark reality. And I, you know, I lost her in her 50s, you know.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, and my mum's still alive. And then the other side of it is, do we know what it is to lose a child, you know, to outlive a child?
That
You know,
that yeah, yeah.
you know, it's a tough call.
Yeah, that's something I just recently went through myself, and it's very painful. I found some healing. I did the eulogy at a service, and just talking about the impact that he had on people around him, even though he was here for just a short amount of time. Um, it was just that was really healing, and see all the people that came out to support, and even kids from his baseball team when he was 7 years old. That now I'd say I'm more at a place where I'm at peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
Yeah.
something you never expect.
And, you know, we know that we all have to pass through 2 gates, which is life and death, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, we look around, you know, we saw the senseless murder of a young man by a a sword. Was it last week, 2 weeks
Oh,
ago?
that was 2 weeks
Senseless
ago.
murder. 14-year-old just going to school, and you ask yourself, why?
That hit
Why?
me.
You
That
know,
really hurt
why?
me. That really hurt me.
Senseless murders, senseless death. I mean, you know, we have our reasons why, but just why? Why can't we just live? Why can't we just love? You know, the trials of this life. You know, I was saying to someone the other day, I thought it was supposed to get easier as you get older, maybe for some, but it's not. The battle is hotter on all fronts, you know. But as you said, DJ, we just have to give thanks for life, you
Yes.
know, for another day to put things right, for another day to examine ourselves, for another day to be helpful, for another day to give, you know, another
Yes.
day to forgive, you know. Yeah, because, you know, I think for the whole of since COVID, everybody's been saying tomorrow is not promised to anybody,
Right.
you know.
Well, I don't think a lot of people have learned the lessons from COVID. I maybe naively, I thought that after COVID, people would be better people, be more caring, be more understanding. But no, they're not. I'm not sure if there some people might be a bit worse. um, is that the cynic in me? I'm not sure, but I haven't seen changes in a lot of people, you know,
No, I
which
think
is
the biggest impact, sorry to cut you, Adasa, is it's had on young people. Young people and their mental health. A lot of young people don't want to go to school anymore because they've seen that they don't need to. They can stay home. Meetings are driven online. We're online. You know, venues can't fill to capacity anymore because everything is driven online. There's been such a shift in the way that we communicate as people, the way in which we receive our information, and the amount of information that we have access to, particularly young people. And that's doing them a disservice. If I had my way, the young people that I have would not have access to social media until 16 plus. It's a
Yeah.
huge issue. You know, you see it in the news, you see the crazy mindsets. These young kids ain't given a chance, you know, so there has been a demise since
Right.
since COVID, a serious demise.
I've seen.
Whether or not it was engineered or not, you know, the kids are at a point where they're desensitized
That for
to a lot
sure.
of things.
That for sure.
You know, it's scary where we are right now.
Yeah. And
You
I'm
know,
just watching the kids all around just, go crazy, literally. I'm seeing it, I mean, people close to me. Um, I like what you said about figuring out a way to try to keep them off of social media until they're 16. It reminds me one of the things a local high school in my area did is that this year no cell phones will be allowed in class. They're going to give them like a bag that they have to put their cell phone and their watches in, and it locks, and they can't get to it until after school. And the kids, of course, were upset. Some of the parents were upset, but they did there's a couple other schools that did it previously, and they said that it forced kids to start interacting as people again. And the kids finally got to the point where they say they're enjoying it because, they're actually having fun. And it's not like you're seeing people walk down the street standing next to each other, texting each other anymore. They're actually interacting as humans should.
Mhm. Uh,
I'm hearing you. I need to slip away. Be back.
Okay.
okay. We'll see you very soon, Shezzie.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really- I've seen 2 year olds, 3 year olds in the pram, and even 1 year olds in the pram screaming hysterically for a mobile phone or for an
Mhm.
iPad. Um, I find that really, really worrying. Like hysterically, like somebody's doing them some great harm, and nobody's harming them. Well, indirectly they are, because they're exposed to this mobile phone and these iPads all the time, and they can't get their head away from it. The parents use that as a pacifier.
Exactly. And it's like, they started so young because I mean, I see like little, 6-month-old babies. If, they get to scream and they want the phone, parent will give them the phone and they know how to look up their YouTube stuff already and all that. And then they're just as happy as can be. I mean, it's kind of cool that they have that ability on one hand, but then the other hand is just like, you're setting those kids up to not be able to function normally in a society that requires one-on-one action.
These children can't even spell their name. They can't even say ABC, much less. They can't do their ABCs. They can't do their numericals. They can't spell their name. Yet they know how to use the phone
Yeah.
perfectly. There's something wrong with that. There's something terribly wrong with that. I please urge any parents whose children are subjected to this. Please, I beg you, please, honestly, this is like an appeal to all of them. It's not a criticism. I'm not judging anybody. All I'm saying is, if this is one of your children who is a toddler or a baby that behaves like that, please wean them off, because it's no use just taking it away completely like that. You're going to have hell. Wean them off. And don't say you can't do it, because just as you could do it, giving it to them, you have the ability to take it away slowly, slowly, until they're non dependent on it. Because these things are harming your children psychologically and emotionally. And if you don't wean them off these things at this age, you're in for a rough ride when they become a teenager. I feel sorry for you. You've
Yeah.
really set yourself up.
Because of course they're going to be wanting the latest edition of the iPhone or Android that comes out, because so and so has it. Yeah. So they have no sense of, you know, of, of true value. I mean, everything is just gonna be, you got the materialism, not to mention all the stuff that they have access to, all the bullying that takes place, all the content out there, and there's so much
Inappropriate content.
misinformation out there. You get past the inappropriate stuff, but all the misinformation stuff out there. I mean, I'm to the point now where if I see a story online, I'm 80% sure that it's BS, and
Fake news.
yeah, it forces you to actually do some research. And but many of the people don't do research and they believe it. I mean, you're over in a different country, so you're probably not aware of all the ins and outs of what's happening in our political system over here. But it's just like, and I'm seeing it on both sides of the aisle, as we say. Everybody's always pointing the finger. And that Jamaican proverb, you point one finger, you got three pointing back.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that's what it is. Because I mean, there's one side is calling somebody, saying that party is a bunch of pedophiles, while the other ones are all getting busted for the same thing, and it's crazy. It is just flat out crazy.
It will. You're just setting a rod for themselves, and just learn to enjoy. Just all I can say is learn to enjoy your children. Learn to enjoy being around children. Some people don't actually like children. They don't like children at all. They don't, and they really don't. But they got children, and then they say, "Oh, I only like my own children." But I think those kind of people struggle sometimes when the children are young. When they're crying, teething, and you got to do practically everything for them, literally. Um, but if you just love life. If you just love life, if you just love people, if you just love children, then the ride is not so tedious as you make out. It's actually very funny. It's full of joys. There's lots of joys in the journey. Um, and you've got to look at all the joys, even when you're tired and feel like, got put some matchsticks in your eyes, deprive sleep, you know. Um, just find the joy in it, and also get some sleep as well. Find you gotta find a routine somehow, somewhere, and stick to that routine. Because if you keep breaking the routine, then what happens? You're sending out that message to your children that it's okay to be outside of those boundaries. And so children do push boundaries because people push boundaries if they can, and you're going to have more problem. So um Shezzie, I love what you've just done. You've taken time out, put the grandchildren to bed, because yes, they need to go to bed at this time. And it's important, just talking about routine, boundaries. These are the things that you've got to insert, you know with children, because it puts them in good stead later on in life.
Mm.
Um,
Becoming very, very rare now, though. It's hard. It's hard to enforce boundaries that are undone when they go into the school place, and elsewhere. It's very difficult. But yeah, I think as a grandmother, I can only instill what I know best to do.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well,
it's
as a
a hard
grandmother,
work for them.
um, you tell me, because I'm not a granny yet. I'm not a granny yet, but I do have two children who are far apart in age-wise.
Mm,
The older one is much older than the other one. And
mm,
so, the parenting style slightly shifted because I learn. So I would assume as a grandparent, you learn from things that you went through with your own direct children, and
mm,
then you can just make it more easier for yourself with the grandchildren. And
mm,
and I think that's why people say, "Oh, you treat them better than this one." But it's not
mm.
treating. It's not that you treat or you love them more. It's because you yourself, as an individual, has grown and you've learned the lessons. You've learned like what not to do and what to do.
I think no one teaches you how to be a parent. No one teaches you that. Um, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 43. My daughter is 39. And my last son is in his 30s, mid 30s.
Mhm.
And they are all different. Every
Yes,
child is different. When I look at them, I can see the different stages of my life in all of them.
yes,
I
yes,
could see
yes,
with the first one, I could see where I was young and immature and silly and without
yeah.
boundaries for him. In the second one, my daughter, I can see where I was settled.
Hmm.
I was at university. I can see that.
Yeah.
And in the last one again, I can see a different child. But I have 10 grandchildren,
Oh, oh, wow.
and the oldest is 23 and the youngest is 6 months. But what it has taught me is patience
Yes, yes,
and the need to listen, because listening is a skill.
Mhm.
To listen, not to judge too quickly,
or
and to
maybe
learn
not to judge at all.
because their world is a very, very different world. And I'm glad that I'm into music, because it means that I do listen to a lot of what they listen to. I'm just into everything. And so that has enabled me to kind of understand a bit more about what their world means. Not that I understand everything, because, you know, my 6-month-old, I'm sure, you know, any child born now, computers nothing to them. They're
Yeah.
operating like computers. They just seem to be developing faster and faster. He's 6 months and he wants to skip the crawling and get up and walk. That's how fast these kids are. So it's an ever-changing world, an ever-changing environment, and you've just got to try and connect somehow. Like I said, learn from your own mistakes, because I certainly made a lot of mistakes as a parent, and that's where listening is absolutely key, and just using your wisdom and being honest and firm, and like you said, making sure that you have those boundaries in place are really important. You know,
Yeah, I
you know,
like.
we look at our parents. Sorry to cut you, and
Oh,
you know that generation would behave as if they were never young, but we have to remember we were once young too. You know.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely so. I always tap into that, especially
Mm.
with the youngest one. I always tap into that. What was my train of thought at that age? Or what was I getting up to? Or what was my peers getting up to? Because I was quite I went by the rules most of the time. Miss Goody Two Shoes.
Well,
So
I was a rebel.
yeah, so I have to be like, what was my peers like? You know, I knew what they got up to, and what they got up to is what the average teenager gets up to. Do you know what I mean?
True.
There's an
Yeah.
in between mark. Do you know? So
Mhm.
I know that not as a young woman, this was my gripe. As a young woman, not now though, not now. As a
Mm.
young woman, I liked children, but I didn't like teenagers. That
Okay.
that was my bugbear. Is
Okay.
didn't like teenage. I really didn't like teenage because when I
Mm.
was a teenager, there was a lot of my peers, not my friends, but my peers that I didn't like their behavior. Didn't like their. I thought because I'm the youngest in my
Mm.
family, I thought their behavior
Mm.
was wild, strange, dysfunctional. But their behavior was normal under the circumstances, from a young person that was
Mm.
growing in a certain environment.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
right.
but all in my 20s, even when I became a parent, um, I couldn't relate to that because I obviously didn't have a teenager then. I had a young child in my mid 20s. And I, I only had to start changing my mindset when my son became a teenager,
Mm.
the eldest one. So when he became a teenager, I had a rough ride. It was a shock to me.
Mm.
His
Mm.
behavior,
Mhm.
his needs, his wants, and then it comes to haunt you. It comes to haunt you. I don't like teenagers. So now, but I'm faced with a teenager, and that teenager is my son. So it's very difficult being um it's very it must be very difficult being the eldest sibling, because it's your parents' first experience with all the stepping stones and all the phases that they're going through. So not only is it your first experience of going through
Mm.
things, it's your
Mm.
parents' first experience having to deal with it. So there can be a lot of clashes sometimes, with your first child. There can
Mm.
be, and
Yeah.
I think some eldest ones, I'm not going to say for everyone, but the eldest siblings, they have that issue, because, oh, mom didn't do that or dad didn't do that, but because mom and dad didn't know any better. They just didn't know any better. It's nothing to do with love, nothing to do with love. It's just their first time. And,
Yeah.
you know, I think in some cultures it's great. So, you know, I just give an example. Some African cultures, there's other cultures as well, but African culture, it's great, you know, to have your elders, your family that can mentor you, can give you words of wisdom, can be there, you know, be supportive. The more supportive like our circle is, the better, because we need that. We need that throughout all the stages. But first time parents, oh, they really need it. First time parents, if they can get the eldest right, then you're not too bad to get the rest right. Not too bad, even though they got all different personalities. But if you can get a mentor, some sort of elder that you respect and love, you know, yeah, it's really a good idea to latch onto that, because you're going to go through some stages that you need some guidance. That's just my view on it. You really do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think about the time I came up, and everything was pretty much strict. I came back from the time where, the belt was something that you got on a routine basis if you stepped out the line, or the switch off of the tree. I can think about, if you really acted up, you might have those 3 whoopings a day where you get one from school, you get one from your grandparents after school, and then when you get home, you get one from your parents because your grandparents had to whoop you. And but then all of a sudden, when I came close to the age where I'd be making children, having children, that was called abuse. And so, but see, the good thing for me though, actually worked in middle school and high schools during the summer sometimes with the kids. So by the time that my kids were that age, I already knew what to expect. I mean, it was like eye opening. There's all kinds of drama that was like we couldn't get away with doing that stuff when we were kids. But it's a whole different way of thinking, and the discipline, the expectations, and then of course my daughter, when she got into high school or middle school, I guess that's when kids started. No, it was high school. That's when they started getting cell phones and stuff. And so, but it wasn't as bad as now, where the kids have to have the latest cell phone that comes out, and you see these parents going into huge debt buying these $1,200 phones for 3 kids. And I think the expectations have kind of dropped off from when I was younger. Just we tolerate far more now than we did back then. And the kids will take, you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile.
Are you the eldest? It depends where you are in the line, and what was going on in the family life at that time. Are you one of the eldest, Buzadelic?
Okay, so I have one brother. He's a year older than me, but he has autism, and so he didn't really get into much, and so I was, even though he used to get me in trouble when we were little, because he always had these brilliant ideas. So like we used to have these toy robots, and it'd be his idea to march the robots down the stairs, and I'd get the butt whooping for it because they thought he wouldn't think of something like that.
So you're talking about autism. Did you know it was autism back then?
Well, back then they called it mental retardation.
Right, exactly, yeah. So
yeah,
I'm just saying that cultural shift, because there's a lot of things that have shifted. We have a lot more understanding of things, which is really important, because when you talk about physical and mental health conditions back in the day, they weren't recognized. I have a family member who has severe dyslexia, who just was told she was stupid all the time, know, and in fact she's quite intelligent. She works for an accountancy, an international accountancy firm now. So it's funny, those perceptions. And you talked about also the belt and the swish and all the rest of it. I can remember some brutal times back in the day. and that's the sort of thing that we didn't want to do with our children,
Right.
And I think that the softer approach, whatever that means, has meant that, we were less encouraged to put certain boundaries in place.
Right.
You talked about the phones. I remember when my boys wanted the new trainers. I remember my youngest, he was looking at trainers from the age of 2. He knew what a trainer was, a baseball cap was, and a basketball. So those cultural shifts have been very important in how we place boundaries around the ones that we love, and around ourselves, but also, they determine the positive or negative outcome of the relationships that we have now,
Yeah.
And it's hard to strike that balance, I think, the whooping, the beatings and what have you, to me, that was handed down from a negative era.
Oh yeah, it comes from the slave time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, our parents, I don't remember being cuddled by my mum or hugged or kissed by any of my parents. Didn't have any of that.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Yeah.
There wasn't that affection necessarily in the home, but as they got older, like now, that love is on display, but back in the day it was really harsh. It was really tough.
Yeah. And I think maybe I was talking to somebody earlier today about this very thing that is like our whole thing with like getting therapy and stuff now. Back in the day, especially culturally, Black folks didn't do it, and just because I came from the time where it was like big boys don't cry, you don't show your emotions. And the downside of that is you have all this stuff bottled up in you, and then so at some point you erupt just like a volcano. And
Yes.
I look back on some of the stuff that I've worked through in my life, and that's been me exactly. Just let
Mm.
it out. And that even like with the loss of my son, I did, try not to let it all out. And then one day I was with my wife, and I was just being real irritable, and she said something, and then finally I just let it all flow out, and I had my first real good cry.
Mm.
And I woke up the next day feeling like a totally different person.
Wow.
You
Wow.
needed to get it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And how liberating was that to you on a personal level?
Oh, it was very liberating. I mean, I felt like a new man because I mean, I really honestly felt like that I wasn't going to be too far behind him for a moment. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
all the stress and all that behind it. But then it's like now I have a mission. I gotta share with other people about his death, so other people don't have to go down that road. The signs of what
Mm.
to look for because. I think sometimes we want to look away from some of the stuff that's happening and we don't know what to do, but there's resources out there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we got to utilize that and just be more observant and, do what we can do. Because I mean,
How
this
old
time,
was your son, if you don't mind me asking?
what was that?
Mm. How old was your son when you
Well, he was
lost him?
26.
Ah,
It
that's hard.
just got released off of my medical insurance and had to get his own. And he still haven't got the actual autopsy results, but I got my suspicions that he didn't have to die.
Okay. Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so
and,
sorry.
but it's
Yeah.
just there's so much stuff out there that can take our kids out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not like when we were younger,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people might try something they might get hooked on, but stuff wasn't killing them like it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. And you see, that's the thing that we don't talk about. My first child took me through hell and back. There are many times where I thought I was going to lose him. And that was a struggle. You know. So that whole life of being a parent is a tough one. and something that we, particularly as Black parents, don't support each other in, because there's too much shame associated with that level of struggle.
Yes,
know?
it is definitely.
Um,
and lack of honesty.
yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one, because I still think we're a people repairing and in healing,
Oh yeah.
and
It is hard, yeah.
it's a
It,
difficult one.
I know what you
Yeah.
mean, because it's striking that right balance. And how do you strike the right balance? How do you do that? It's difficult for different people, different stages. Because I just caught myself saying, honesty, but then you have to be careful who you honest with. There'll be people that will throw it back in your face. People will do that very gladly,
Mm,
either on purpose
mm,
or just through negligence, you know. Um, but either way, it's ill thought of, and it it can hurt. It will hurt, the other person receiving it.
mm, mm,
So I think we as people, we do put up a lot of barriers.
mm,
Um, we do judge one another as
No, the
well, and
judgment is harsh.
the judgment is just, it is very harsh.
mm, yeah.
We need to let go of this judgment thing.
Mm,
We really, really do. It's damaging to people, and it's damaging to ourselves, because you
mm,
don't escape it. You don't escape it. It comes back like a boomerang.
mm,
Yeah, it really comes back like a boomerang. It hits hard. Karma is real. The karma is the buzzword word out there right now, but it is real. It will come back to you one way or the other. When it comes back very hard and harsh,
mm,
and comical in a strange, warped way as well. It'd be like the very thing you're attacking somebody with, it comes back to you full force. It's like, wow, you couldn't make it up.
mm,
You
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to drop the judgment. That's my bugbear. I really don't like when we judge one another at all.
Yeah.
We've got to try, be open-minded, be more understanding.
mm,
Your journey is not another person's journey. Your mindset is not another person's mindset. Just because you do X, Y, and Z, don't expect that from another person. X, Y, and Z. The package is gonna come completely different.
mm,
Wrap differently, look differently, feel differently, behave differently. It's coming
mm,
completely different. So
Yeah.
don't expect it to come the same package as yourself. That's another big thing, um we just need to just chill a bit, just really, and listen. You said listen,
mm,
listening is so is a powerful tool to have and to demonstrate. Absolutely powerful listening.
there's two things that I think that comes to mind that was good for me. And I think DJ, was it Brusadelic, said it, was the need for therapy. I did therapy. I did some counseling. And I did it late. I must have done it in my 50s. But it couldn't have come at a better time. So that was the first thing I did. And the second thing was to have a damn good cry.
Yeah.
Look at myself in the mirror and just break and have
Yeah.
a damn good cry. Those two things. And I think, those things are really important. To find somebody that you can trust to take you through, to take you back and bring you forward, and to have a good cry, let it all go.
Yeah.
So those are two things, two tools, I would say.
Yeah.
There's something healing in letting those tears go. And it's not always sad tears. Sometimes it's good tears.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know, sometimes the body just says, you know what, it's time to heal. Let it out. Wash it away, And it's good to have those moments. But I would advise anybody, if they can find a really good therapist. Mine was a Black woman. She was brilliant. And yeah, for me, it was culturally specific, so she could really understand where I was coming from.
Yes, I
And
understand
she
what you mean.
could give me, allow me to see myself and the environment that I grew up in a different way and in a real way, in
Yeah,
a pragmatic way, and
yeah,
then give me the tools to navigate my way forward, so I didn't have to keep looking back,
yeah,
That's so
So,
important.
it's important then, because when you go through things with your children, I don't know about anybody else, but I always blame myself for getting it wrong
I think we all
or
do.
not. That's what I'm saying. We do that.
Yeah.
We do that, and that's such a horrible burden to bear. So like I said, it's about putting certain things into perspective, which is why I say nobody teaches you. You have to stumble and fall and rise,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
and
literally,
then find those people. And I found people outside of my community and in my community
yeah, yeah,
that have helped me along the way, and that's it.
So for me, it was late coming in life too. I was in my early 50s when I first really tried to get into it. My first attempt wasn't good. It was somebody that couldn't relate to me culturally wise, and I was kind of turned off. And then somebody told me about this brother that had like a African based psychology that he
Mhm.
wanted that he worked from. And
Wow.
so I went to see him, and the first thing he asked me, he said, "How well do you know yourself?"
Mhm.
I thought it was the strangest question. I was like, I know my name, this and that. And he said, "No, your inner self." And we started getting into that, and it got
Mhm.
culturally specific. And I started getting, going back to ancient Kemet and learning about the practices of the ancestors and all that. And it's just like that completely changed my life.
Wow.
And people can see a night and day difference in the way I carry myself. And now I've become an artist, and every song that I write has something to do with that now.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow.
Because I was like, people would tell me about meditation, and I thought meditation was only something that hippies did out in the forest, right? Because that was just
Mm.
how ignorant I was, and I didn't realize that our folks were meditating back, before Jesus walked the earth. And that's how we had the ability to build pyramids and those great temples and all that, because we were able to reach the higher source and work out everything that we envisioned we were able to do. And so when I started getting into that mode of thinking, I just watched my life totally change.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. I had support counselling when I was in my late 30s, early 40s, giving away my age now. I'm not going to
You're still a
I'm not
baby
going to
to
say how
me.
many years ago that was. I'm not going to say how many years ago that was.
Oh,
uh,
black don't crack. All right.
it don't crack. It don't crack. I'm holding on. I'm keeping it fused together. Where's my super glue?
Uh,
And it was a very strange experience. I found it very strange. Found it very strange, but I was all for it.
mm,
I was
interesting.
all for it. I was all for it. I was all for it because it needed to be done. Um, and a lot of the things I actually knew already, but to for it to be presented in a certain way, with more clarity, then it brought more clarity in my mind. And when I talk about it, I can talk about it crystal clear. Whereas before it was all jumbled up, a bit here, a bit there, and it was all kind of a bit messy. Whereas now I know exactly, you
Mm.
know, I
Good
know exactly.
counseling means that, good counseling is the ability of someone to hold up a mirror And for you to see yourself clearly,
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
yourself clearly, and understand the impact of the environment on who you are clearly,
yeah.
you know.
It's like the mist goes and
Mm,
everything becomes crystal clear. Do you know what I mean?
mhm,
The mist goes because it's there. Each and every one of us, it's there. Because if
mm,
it wasn't there, you wouldn't be behaving in a certain way. Your mindset wouldn't be of a certain mindset if it wasn't there. So it's there, but it's all jumbled up, and it comes out in different ways. It comes
mm,
out with sarcasm, it comes out with negativity, it comes out with depression, it comes out with being rude, it comes out with all different symptoms, being angry, it comes out in different ways. And then you've got to give it as long as it clicks. That's the thing. You got to give it enough time. Don't put a time span on it. Don't say, okay, I'm going to do these 2 weeks or this 1 month and I should be okay. No, it doesn't work like that.
mm,
You know, just keep doing it until everything becomes clear. That doesn't mean you completely change. That bit comes after. So you're changing because your mindset is reformatting. Your
mm,
wires in your veins are rewiring. You're putting everything back together. They're making sense of everything
mm,
again.
mhm.
Welcome, Mr. Gary Hines. Welcome.
Thank you, Queen Adasa. Hey, gang.
Hey, what's
And
up, brother Gary?
mhm,
Oh,
Oh,
man.
we're talking about therapy, the impact of therapy, and healing.
Yes.
And I'm just talking about when I had therapy when I was in my late 30s, early 40s, very early 40s. Because I'm still young. Not really.
Early 40s. I thought you were still in your 20s.
Thank you, Gary. I love you forever. And what I was saying is that it everything is there because if it wasn't there, we wouldn't be behaving a certain way or saying a certain thing or acting out in a certain way. So it's there. But what therapy, in my view, does, it brings it to the forefront. It makes it more crystal clear why you're doing it and to get a grasp and a deep rooted understanding where it's coming from. And for you, they don't ask the question. For you to ask the question, now, what are you going to do about it?
mm,
What steps are you going to make now so that you can be a better person? You don't need to do certain things or say certain things that is inappropriate or negative. And also to create boundaries with people. It's not just only about you in such a way, it's also about how you interact with people, how you set boundaries with people, how you say no, how you say, hey, I'm not liking what you're saying right now.
mm,
This
mm,
is hurting my feelings. I don't want to be in this zone. You have a right to do that. You have a right to do that.
mhm,
You have a right to say, let's agree to disagree. You have a right to say nothing. You have a right to say, okay, I'm getting a call right now. I need to end this call. I need to go right now.
mm.
You and to have that confidence to do that.
Unfortunately, with the age comes wisdom, and with age comes a lot more courage. So you get to this side of life. I'm loving the 60s because I really don't care anymore.
Exactly.
I know how to exercise my nose. Setting boundaries are easy, but then when I look back, I think, my God, why hadn't I done that a long time ago? I'm
But
living my best life now. knowing that actually being able to say no has thrust me forward in a different way, but it's not easy. It is not easy. And, like I said, therapy or whatever is a tool for self-discovery, but, the healing part of that is a process, and it takes time. It takes time, for you to really find yourself. And it's like riding a bike, learning to ride a bike, and acceptance. You accept who you are, with the negatives and the positives, and
And
I think
forgive
that's
yourself.
important.
Yeah, and forgive yourself.
Hmm.
Sometimes the problem is
Absolutely,
people
Adassa.
are beating up themselves because
Mm.
they've done things, they've said things, and they're beating. We can't reverse what we've done, what we've said,
Mm.
what we've done. We can't reverse it. We can be remorseful of it, though.
Mm.
We can be a better person and say the necessary sorries. That
Mm.
word sorry means a lot to many people. So
Absolutely.
we gotta build that courage. We've got to be that person that if you've done
Hmm.
anything wrong and you know you've done everything, because sometimes we've done wrong and we don't even know. Do you know?
Mm.
I'm not talking about those bits. When you know in your heart of heart that you
Mm.
have had an impact on someone, you did wrong. You just did wrong. Don't
Mm.
sweep it under the carpet. Don't say,
Mm.
"Oh, that was many years ago. I was young then." No, because these things have a lasting impact on people. And
Mm.
we've got to take the personal responsibility and be decent human beings and call that person or whatever, if they're willing to talk to you or write a note or whatever communication they'll accept. Because remember, it's their terms now because you done something wrong to them. So now you have to humble yourself and be that apologetic person. And how many people can be brave enough to do that? How many people can be honest within themselves first? That's the first stage. With honest within themselves, you've done wrong. You must have had a big impact on this person. And the reason why that is because we all can exercise objectivity. And when we exercise objectivity, there's case studies. We know somebody, we've seen it on telly, we know a friend, a cousin, a niece, or whatever that has been through whatever experience it is, bullying, whatever it is, right? And we've seen the impact that this has happened on the person when this started. So this event has happened, and then we've seen that person change, their confidence go down, or they become a rebel, or whatever the symptom is, right? So we know that situations have impact. So if we have done something wrong to somebody, we should first forgive ourselves, talk to ourselves, and say, boy, I didn't know any better, which obviously you didn't know any better. You didn't know any better at that stage. You did
Sometimes
wrong.
you do.
Sometimes, well, do you know what the therapy does? The therapy brings alive w- our understanding what is right, what is wrong. Yeah. And sometimes people know they're being mean to somebody, but they're not really understanding the impact it has on that person. They're not even understanding the impact it has on their self, because it has an impact on yourself as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
If
takes,
only we could see ourselves.
well, exactly. And
Mm.
just say that sorry, just have that conversation. You'd be a surprise. Some people are quite open, some people will be a bit guarded, but you can't there's all kinds of different skills. Don't expect the person to be like, oh, I accept your apology, oh, we're best of friends, and skip down the road. It doesn't work like that in some cases. But you can say a sincere sorry and why you're sorry. You've got to say why you're sorry. You can't just say sorry and then expect them to come with open arms. It doesn't work like that. Say you're sorry, go into details of why you're sorry and how you understand how it may, because you don't know what they've gone through, how it may have impacted them, and whatever else. You're not going to be condescending. This is not a time to be condescending. How it may have impacted them, and then just say whenever you want to talk or get in contact, please do, and then leave it for the person to digest. Okay,
It's
leave
in
it.
stage. It's in stages, I believe, from
It's
here what you're bringing
stages.
up. But so for me, when there's been an infraction, a wrong, or whatever kind of thing, uh, forgiveness, okay, but also, and what I think I hear you talking about, Queen Adasa, reconciliation. Now, reconciliation, a lot of times people get twisted. Reconciliation should actually begin with the perpetrator, not
Yeah.
with the person who is the victim.
That's
Okay.
right.
And that leads to the third step, which is actually reparations or rectifying the situation, as opposed to just the I'm sorry. That's an admission. But then, okay,
Mhm.
what's the action to remedy and to rectify and to repair or make reparations for that, which is reconciling, making up the difference, and then damaging the repair that was done. So to me, those are the three stages.
Yeah, you're right. Damage limitation. You've got to try your best, and it depends on the circumstances and how close you are with that person. Um, but it's difficult because a lot of people won't go for therapy. A lot of people don't think they need it. Um,
Yeah. I was going to say part of the process for me, and I learned this from my studying of Deepak Chopra. The first step is you got to forgive yourself.
Mhm.
Okay, once you forgive yourself, because you're actually placing yourself in their person's shoes, and thinking about how
Right.
your actions affected those around you that you somehow wronged. And once you get to that point, if the person's still alive, then yeah, you can do that reconciliation. If they're not alive, you can ask the universe, ask God to forgive you for that. That's part of my process right there. But it's interesting that came up because that's something I've been going through the last couple of nights in my evening meditation, just kind of like reviewing my life
Mhm.
and accepting responsibility. Not like I did a whole bunch of stuff, but everybody does something.
Right.
You know,
everybody does something in some
right?
way or form. We all know what we've said. We've all or what we've done to people. You know,
Yeah,
anybody say that they don't know, they're just lying. They're just
right.
they're just lying. They're just trying to bury their head in the sand. And if we really be honest,
Yeah,
some people have done really grave things, like really really grave things, but nevertheless, I'm not even going to say, because words are painful as well.
hmm
You say certain things to people and it really can cut. And some people really think they're high and mighty. They think, oh, I'm a good citizen, I don't have a criminal record, and I got a good job, and I got this and I got that. But yet they've got a wicked mind and a wicked heart, and they've crushed a lot of people along the journey.
yes,
And what's that got to do with criminal record or whatever? You're being a bit antisocial when you was a teenager or a young adult. What's that? There's some people, they've committed a crime, but they're not evil people. They just did something stupid, at that
Mhm.
particular time in their life, but they're not evil people. They're actually better people than the people in these corporate big jobs. They're actually nicer people. So it's nothing to do with anything like that.
yeah,
Nothing to do with anything like that. And the mindset has to shift. Especially our culture. We were grown to think, oh, yeah, like in my household, criminal. No, nobody bring no criminal in this yard. Nobody. You know? I want to make police knock on this door. No. You know, you know, it was like that kind of mindset, you know. But as I've gone older, it's not like that. Some of the wickedest people. Wow. I mean, some professions that you'd be like, what?
They probably did the dirt. They just didn't get caught.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
That's I'm going to have to be signing off soon.
Oh, well, we are going to play, before you go, we are going to play one more of your tunes. So, Shezzie, what are you going to be getting up to this year?
Well, I'm about to release a new single at the end of the month, so I'll keep you posted about that. Maybe a couple of more shows. I need to finish writing my book. I'm writing.
Nice.
And yeah, some more things in the pipeline. I'm a creative, so I'm always creating.
I know you are. You're always a very busy woman. And also you take good care of yourself, which I'm really happy about. What is the book based on, Shezzie?
Well, it's really on the beginnings of it's my life story, but from brown sugar up, basically. So from the 70s up, just some life lessons, basically, and my experience. You know, we've all got a story in us, haven't we?
Yes.
You know, every single one of us got a serious story and some nuggets to share, and that's exactly what I'll be doing.
Wow. I'll be interested to get that book. I would like to read that book.
Yeah, keep it posted.
Yes, definitely, with my little nosy self. I love to read that book. But I'm gonna, before you go, I'm gonna play Sata Mas. I can't pronounce it, Shezzie.
Sata Masagana.
Yes. Tell
Praise
us a little bit before we put it. What's this song all about?
Well, it was originally sung by a Jamaican group called the Abyssinians, Sata Masagana. And the Abyssinians, what they did was they read the Bible and decided to the whole album, Sata Masagana, was really biblically based. But this one is in Amharic, giving praises to God.
Lovely. Well, we're going to play it, and thank you for coming on the After 8 show and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Lovely discussion. Yeah.
Take care, Queen. Congratulations on the new single from Sounds of Blackness. We appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. Sounds of Blackness. Wow. Really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Lovely to meet you all, DJ Boozadelic. Keep it luck. Yeah. And I hope to join you again soon. Look me up on YouTube. That's Shezzie. Facebook Shezzie. Instagram Shezzie. And you'll see my works there. All right.
I'll follow you on the platforms.
Will do.
Okay.
I'll share with all the Sounds of Blackness, Queen Shezzie.
I'll send you guys the link. I'll send you guys Shezzie.
All right, Adassa, keep shining, beautiful.
Oh,
I'm loving all you do. You know, I'm always behind you. I'm not always there, but I'm always seeing everything that you do.
I know you do. I know.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you big time. All right.
Lots of
blessed love.
God bless.
Bye-bye. We're going to tune in with now Sata Masagana. Here we are, Shezzie.
Praise Him, the Most High, higher, higher. There is a land far, far away. book of life, and you will see that he rules the soul. That he rules the soul. Praise him, Lion, higher. The King of Kings and the Lord of all lords. He sits upon his throne and he rules us soul. If you look into the book of life, and you will see that he rules us soul. That he rules us soul. There is a land far, far away, where there's no night, there's only day. If you look into the book of life, and you will see that there's a land far, far away. That there's a land far, far away. Sata amasagana lahamlai. Ulagi. Sata amasagana lahamlai.
That was absolutely brilliant.
I wish she was
Absolutely.
still there. I recognized a good dear friend in there, Sister Angie Amber Anderson. She's a
Oh,
master drummer and teacher, and there we done workshops with her and all that kind of thing from the UK. So she was the tallest lady that was had the drumstick, yeah, under her arm. So
Wow, you see how the world
yes,
is small.
yes,
Do you know what, right? Gary, I deliberately saved that song. I said to her, I'm gonna wait until you are here to didn't I
yeah.
say that, Dooza Delhi? I said
yeah.
wait
Thank
until
you.
you're here to hear it because it gave me that kind of sounds of blackness feel to it. Do you
Yes,
know?
yes. My
Yeah, and I was
goodness.
like, I just when I heard that song, I'm thinking sounds of blackness.
Absolutely. And you know what? Now I'm feeling like ridiculously foolish when you asked the question a week or so ago about, guests, special guest suggestions. And I was
Yeah.
trying to think I was trying to think too hard. The old Abbott and Costello routine. I try to think and nothing happens. So I thought, but I knew that there was somebody, and that's who I was thinking of. And lo and behold, there she's right there in the UK, and just outside London, and she would be a great guest. Again, Angie Amber Anderson, and she travels the world. Oh my goodness, I can't even name all the groups that she plays for, but she's a world renowned, a percussionist and so on and so forth. And right there in your hood, Queen Adasa.
Nice.
Yes,
Wow.
I am too excited.
Shezzie is a great artist. Believe you
Oh,
me, she has been around
yes,
from the 70s. You know,
I can tell.
she was in a group called Brown Sugar,
Yes,
and they had hits and quality hits, and they're just never going to be forgotten, just never. And you know,
no, no,
she's so into her roots and just authentic with it, you know. And
yes,
she just loves what she does, and she just does it through the love of God, through the love of music,
yes.
and it just works for her.
Yes, I
Yeah.
really will. Please, please, please send me her contact information, and I'll
Well,
send you Angie Amra's
yes, please, yeah,
contact information.
yeah.
Like just as soon as we are done
As
today.
soon as we finish today, I
Yes,
will.
yes. Wow.
Tell me, I will
Talk
do.
about small world.
Yeah.
You know, hey, Boozadelic, you know, when we were in college, at least when I was in college, you know, a million years ago, uh, the whole, and in fact there was a book with this title, but Global Village, I don't know if you remember that. Global Village was a concept, and now it's a reality, you know. With the
Yeah.
internet and everything, you know.
Yeah, you
Global,
see how
yeah,
it goes. That's how the universe operates. That's what
yeah,
it's all about. It's
yes,
about
Yeah.
yes, my
joining together
goodness,
and
Yeah.
joining the dots, getting our people
yeah,
together. And it's nothing to do with genres, because music is
right,
just music.
yes,
Yeah, and yeah, it just reminds me of a few weeks ago when I ran into my buddy DJ Cowboy from your stomping grounds, and how
yes,
we're all
sir,
just like so closely related. It's like, okay, I
yeah,
tell him I know you, and then I'll be doing some work with him in this venue not too far from where I'm at right now.
okay,
Yeah, and that's gonna be coming up in I think July 7th is the date that we'll be doing that.
okay. Are you coming this way?
No, no, not to Minneapolis. It's here in Portland.
Oh, okay. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just checking. Yep. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
someday maybe I'll be there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It
But that's
definitely won't be in the
crazy.
wintertime though.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't mad at you. You know, but you know the weird thing, just a slight digression. This past winter, we had the warmest. We basically had almost no snow. We had the warmest winter on record. Last year, we had the second snowiest and coldest. So back to back, we had two extremes. So just that's just a side note. So don't necessarily let that keep you away, my brother.
Now, when I was a little kid, I used to dream of playing for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know why, but
Oh,
I,
but because they're a great team, that's why.
I think it's just because they played outside and there was always
Right,
snow on the
right,
ground.
right.
And I remember my dad telling me if you're going to play in Bloomington, Minnesota, you got to put your hands in ice water to get prepared. So I used to do that, go
That's
in the section,
right.
put my hands in ice water.
He told you right. And if you remember the old stories from that, the old coach, Bud Grant, who we just lost last year, sadly, great coach,
Yeah,
he did not allow them to have heaters
right.
on the sidelines. And you know what? He was right about that. It literally, in fact, you hear that now when you see the old NFL. Sorry about the digression, Queen Adassa.
No,
When you see
that's
those
fine.
old
Go
interviews
ahead.
about the Vikings opponents, what was effective about it freaked them out. They were like, "Man, what kind of dudes are we playing against?" It literally got in their head, no heaters on the side. But anyway, so yeah, come on through, my brother. But man, I hate that Queen Shezzie had to go now, knowing what if I knew then, what I know now, that old thing, right?
That's
Yeah.
fine. I will share the
Oh my
details, and I will let her
goodness.
know because I'm in communication.
Yes.
I will let her know. Yeah, and I'll
But,
share the details definitely. Most
Yes, my
definitely.
goodness.
what I
Yeah.
liked about that video though was the night banging drums. That was
Yes.
really, and then the fact that it was a song that the Abyssinians did. I saw them in one of the best reggae concerts I had ever attended here in
Yeah.
Portland. Probably
Yeah.
about maybe 10, 15 years ago they were here, and you know,
Yes.
and they were doing just pretty much that. It's like they had a Bible open and they're up there reading, their songs or shit.
They're
Yes, sir.
powerful, powerful.
Powerful.
I played at a funeral about 2 years ago, and I opened the funeral with them. The
God.
music,
Mm,
the
yeah.
music, and that was the people really, really enjoyed that reception. They were just like,
Oh.
music. They
I
just
have no doubt.
spot on. Yeah. Then I had to go. I won't say. I won't tell you about the first day who took over. But they didn't want me to go.
Oh, yeah, I
I
bet.
had to go. I had another gig.
Yeah,
Yeah, my time. I had already went over my time. Just to be nice.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, they're a very powerful group.
yes, they are.
Very powerful indeed. But yeah, I will definitely let Shezzie know and pass the details once this show finished. My back is scratching. Ugh. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to scratch my back.
Get go
Ow.
on, get down. We ain't mad at you.
It's a funny sensation. It's like
Yes, it is.
it's itching, but it's not even really an itch. It's like a sharp kind of pain. Not pain, but like I don't know what to call it. Anyway, that's how the body works. I am so,
Gary, check your messenger. I sent you something I want you to listen to.
Oh, okay. I will do that, my brother. Thank you.
When I released it, I was like, you know what? This is right up Gary's alley, right
Man,
here.
I can't wait to hear it. What's the title?
Journey to Sirius B.
I
And
love it.
so what it does, it kind of goes back in time to ancient Egypt, back towards
Yes.
our celestial origins.
Yes, sir. There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. I definitely will do that, brother. Thank you for sharing in advance.
wonderful. I'm so glad to see you guys today. Actually, I missed you guys last week. Oh.
Yeah, my goodness.
I missed you guys. So much going on, but it's
And
so
you know,
good.
it's just the way it works. So last week I would have been able to do the full show. You know, just
Oh
but you know,
wow! You
it just works
see?
that way. You know, uh, but yeah. But
Oh.
today is a little extra craze. But just glad to, make it fit in where we get in, or get in where we fit in.
That's how we have to do it. That's how we do it.
Yeah,
It was just an exceptional circumstance.
yeah. Are
Um,
you okay? Is everything
yeah,
okay?
I've had a few days off work, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I've just managed to just balance out myself and take a bit of self-care as well and
Yeah,
do what I need to do. There's more things gonna be happening. Um, for people who don't know, one of my cousins passed away, but I was there at the hospital, so it's quite hard to see.
I
Uh,
understand. Trust me.
and it was an older cousin who used to come to our house every weekend. So, you build that close relationship. I haven't seen him for a couple of years still, but that doesn't make any difference, because
Yeah.
you already. Got that history.
Right. Right.
Um, and it's the first of our first cousins, like
Mm.
it's the first that has transitioned. So it's been a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
Plus the shock because I was there, I came to the hospital, he was gone, it's like, and to see him in the bed, it's quite hard. It's quite hard.
Yeah. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it's quite hard. It's quite hard. To be honest, I didn't know what to think, I just wanted to just get there. Just get
Yeah.
there. Um, yeah. Yeah, even me talking about it now, yeah.
I understand that those of us that have been there and like actually been, a lot of times people, and they mean well, they'll say to you, "Oh, I understand," but unless you've really been there, you don't like really, or you don't have that level of understanding of what it's really like. So, and I have, so I really feel you, sister. So, we've been sending up extra prayers, and we'll continue
Thank you.
to, yeah, because
Thank
that's a rough one. Yeah,
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 yeah, mm, yeah. And he was into music. He was into music. He loved music. He did
yeah,
producing as well, and he was a smart guy, very intelligent guy, because he had a legal background background. He was legally taught, and so he knew, what to spot and what to do. Look out for, you know. We haven't got the date of the funeral yet.
Yeah.
It's still new. So just wait to hear the date for that, and just keep in contact with
Yeah.
my cousins and stuff. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I understand that situation. It's the double whammy of both the grief and the shock. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because we didn't know. We didn't know. We only had
Right.
a short time frame, very quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Get there and just to say our parting words. We didn't know.
Yeah.
And I respect that. Everybody's different. I'm not going to judge anyone. Some people don't want to tell everyone. They just want to keep it private. They just want
Yeah.
everything to go on. It's not, and whatever the individual is comfortable with.
Yeah.
You know. But it's in safe hands. It's with our Creator.
Absolutely.
That's the comfort that we seek.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, it is.
I keep a give and I keep a takeaway.
That's right.
So,
Blessed be the name of the Lord. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the comfort. That's the
Yeah.
comfort, and away from the pain.
Yes. Yes.
Mm, away from the pain. Away from the pain. We've got to remember that it doesn't make it easier for us left behind, but we have
Right.
to seek comfort in that because that is the
Right.
truth.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
um, the spirit lives on. You
Yes,
know,
it does. It brings home the fact that the greater truth is we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
thank you.
That spirit
Oh,
is,
that's why I love you so
yeah,
much, Harry.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, yeah,
we are.
and that's even scriptural. I mean, the one scripture that says where God saying, "I knew you before you were in your mother's womb." That means we already existed, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
mother was the vessel to bring us into this life. But
That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
right. This is
Yeah.
all a shell. All of this is a
right,
shell.
yeah,
You know. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
And some of
yesterday I happened to read something that popped up on the smart news. It was about this lady. She was I think she was an attorney or something, but anyway, she was in the water in a kayak somewhere and she
mm-hmm.
went under. She was actually pretty much dead, but then they were able to resuscitate her. And so she had an account of that death experience. And she
Mm.
said that, she could feel all these spirits, all her loved ones, and saw these bright colors. She knew she was in the presence of God because the love was so warm, and she didn't want to actually come back. And she said it was just when she was drowning that there was no pain associated with it. She was just ready to go, and bam, she was gone.
Wow.
But then she woke up back here on the other side, and I've heard so many different accounts like that, and they all
Yes.
say the same thing,
Yeah.
And I can think about an experience I had back when I was at my worst with my illness, and it was like I was going through this very colorful tunnel, and I could see this bright light, and it was like I could hear my dad's voice and some of the other people that I recognized, even though you didn't
Yeah.
see him in human form, but I just recognized the souls, and they're like, it's not your time. Then it's like I got pushed back into light, and I said, man, that's exactly the same thing, that she went through, and so.
Yeah, there's a book when you said that, and I'm forgetting the exact title. It's either Follow the Light or Walking into the Light or Going to the Light. If you Google it, it would come. Then the book. I'm sure this book is easily like 20 years old, but it's basically a compilation of countless. Basically not near death, but death situations and resuscitation. Men, old, young women, black, white, African, European, Asian, all of that. I basically describing just as you did, the same situations, surrounded by loved ones going toward a light, a tunnel. I mean, it was amazing. So hearing you say that reminded me of that book.
Was that Dolores Cannon by chance?
And forgive my grandmama used to say, boy, you got a good forgettery. So forgive my forgettery. You know, that's that old North Carolina. But so I'm saying that to say I don't remember. I'm embarrassed to say, but I'll check it out myself too.
Okay, because I've
Yeah.
read this lady Dolores Cannon. She was a regressive therapist, regressive past life therapist, basically. And
Uh-huh.
so it's like she would interview these people, and there was one account of this young kid that when he was born, he had like this weird birthmark, and it had like a little mark here and then a little mark here. And so he used to tell the story about how he was shot down in this airplane somewhere off in the Pacific, and everybody's like, yeah, whatever, you're just
Wow.
making some stuff up. But it turned out with his account, they went back and looked it up, and all the information happened in that exact place. And so
Wow.
the pilot actually got shot through the chin, and the exit wound was through the top of the head.
Wow.
And so that really makes you think. And I've heard it described like it's almost like you dive into the water and you come out.
Yeah, yes. Or people that were in a hospital room and basically died, kind of thing, but were later resuscitated. But described that first of all they've left their body and were
Right.
at the top of the room, and they could describe and they were heavily sedated and not conscious, but when they were revived, they were able to said you would do it, tell this doctor you did this and you guys did that, and the doctor like astonished, like, because there's no way in terms of normalcy and that could be possible, kind of thing. It's like, well, guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I think a lot of them are real because I've had an experience many years ago, and it was quite nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my gosh, I was pushing myself as always. No, but I was pushing myself at that time a lot, just pushing. I wasn't getting any sleep. I had so much to do. I was going through quite a traumatic time, if I'll be honest, very traumatic time. Now I look back, it was a lot I was doing and juggling and, had to deal with. I remember I was in my son's bedroom sweeping, just sweeping the floor. His bedroom was fine, nothing wrong, just sweeping the floor and getting ready to just give it a light mop because it's got laminate floor. And then whoosh, these noises came, and I don't know if I blacked out. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know what happened. I could hear all these voices, and it was strange voices, very strange voices. It sounds quite spooky for me saying it. It's like I was conscious but not conscious, and I couldn't move. All I remember, I couldn't move, and I was quite scared at the same time. So there was a level of consciousness and there was a level of unconsciousness. I don't know how to quite describe it. But I was quite scared. I was thinking, what's going on with me? And what I did, I remember putting the broom down and I kneeled at his bedside. I couldn't even get on the bed. I couldn't even get on the bed. That's how bad it was. I just kneeled and leaned on the bed, and I just started praying.
Yeah.
I just started praying.
Yeah.
I just started praying because this was freaking me out. I just started praying. I started praying. I started praying. I started praying. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit before that. All that week, it was raining. The weather was rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Yeah. And so I was just praying. I was just praying that this noise can go, because this noise was maddening me. This is like, I was that scared. Like, am I going into this supernatural world or what? So I just kept praying until I must have fell asleep. I don't know when I fell asleep, but I got knocked out. I must have fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning, the noise had gone. and I remember opening my eyes and looking. I was just scared to even get up. I was scared to get up. I was thinking, is this gonna come back again? But what I noticed as well, through the God, through the blinds, it was a hot, bright day.
Mhm.
It was one of the hottest days ever. It was hot, 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 and the sun was just beaming through the blinds.
Mhm.
And I just slowly got up because I can be a bit of a cleanaholic. Yeah, I
Mhm.
just and I just put away put away the cleaning utensils. I thought I'm not cleaning no more today. And I just like I just walked in the bathroom, just like a bit scared, like thinking, what's going on? And I prayed. I prayed again. I prayed, and yeah, I was just like in a zone for a long time, for about I can't remember how long for, but that morning I was just like just sat there, just thinking, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to get on with the rest of the day or whether to go back to bed because I didn't want to go back to bed. I was a bit scared to go back to bed because I didn't know whether I'm going to hear the noises again. So it was a very strange feeling. It was the most bizarre feeling I've ever had in my life. I've never had that experience again since. But I know I wasn't near death. It wasn't death, but it
Mhm.
I think I was going to or in contact with, I don't know, with the
Mhm.
spiritual world. That's how I saw it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it frightened me.
You
Yeah.
know, while you
Yeah.
were telling that story, you know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
Alien abduction.
It frightened me, but seriously. And my
Yeah.
friend later that day, it was later that day, because I just took it easy that day. I just thought maybe I'm just doing too much. I think I was doing too much. But later that day, because I never told anybody else, I'm just telling you guys now. I never ever told anybody. I told one person, my friend, and she's like, "Oh, you moved into your place, but did you bless the place?" And I was like, Mm, I didn't actually. I was so busy decorating the place. So to go and bless the place, you have to bless the place. You have to get incense. You have to do this, do that. And I did that. I did that. I thought I better do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I prayed, but I didn't go around everywhere like with incense and doing that, because I thought that was a bit over the top, like a bit crazy. But I still did it just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
Burn some sage up in there. That's what you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I did it. I just like it's the craziest experience I've ever had. The craziest. And in terms of supernatural, it had to be I I don't know, it just had to be some connection with the spiritual world. It had to be.
Yeah.
It
Oh
had
yeah.
to be. So when people say they've, you know, died and came back or in I believe them.
Yeah. Me too.
I believe them. I really, really, really do believe them, especially after what I experienced. I really, because you tell the average person that, and they're like, you're
Right.
rubbish. They're not the ones that went through it.
Right.
Right.
You have to go through it to believe it and really know it and take ownership of it. I can say it wasn't a near death, but it was some kind of spiritual world. It had to be. It had
Yes.
to say with all them noises. I don't even want to repeat those noises. It was crazy, and also it lends me to having a greater understanding a greater patience level with people who have mental illness, who say that they, people say they're hallucinating,
Right,
things
right.
like that. It
Mhm.
it makes me have much more empathy and understanding.
Mhm.
And society likes to brush off these people
Right,
as evil, as mental illness, like not, their head's not good.
right.
When sometimes some of these people have clear clarity in thinking.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, clarity in thinking. Yeah, and then just because that they've voiced it maybe in a way that's not acceptable to society, they're deemed as being antisocial or deemed as being crazy, when sometimes you just need to really listen and stop
Yeah.
forming judgments of these people,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know. Just listen, really listen, and stop telling people they're not in their right mind. Stop telling people they're being stupid. Stop telling
Right.
people they're lying. Who are individuals? How come? Why would individual? How dare they have that? Think they have the audacity to say that to another human being?
Right. Right.
Just all you got to do, as Shezzie was saying earlier, just be patient and listen.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
listen and have the time. Take the time out to listen. That's why it's important for families to have certain time of day
Mhm.
where they just join forces
Mhm.
and talk to one another.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big
Yes.
time.
important. Or if you're in a relationship, important.
Yes.
You have a certain time of day where you just sit down. You have no distractions, and you talk and you listen. You take turns with each other. You
Yeah.
talk, I listen. I talk, you listen. No
Right.
judgment. No judgment.
Mhm.
Just listen. Have empathy.
Mhm.
We got to build up on that as people. We've got to
Exactly.
we got to, 'cause this ignorance, this ego, this pride, all of these things is what's making us shoot our own self in the foot many a times.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very much literally.
Mhm.
um just just listen to people, because you know essentially, we have got some characters out there. Yes, we know that. But essentially, we have the same wants, we have the same needs,
Right.
right? All we are seeking for is for somebody to listen to us,
Right.
and respectfully as well, without forming the judgments, to have empathy. When
Mhm.
sometimes we're not even looking for solutions, we form our own solutions many a time. We are our own medicine many of the time.
That's right.
We can we can get ourselves out of situations many a time, but we just need that confidence, and we need someone to have our back. We really do. We can't do it alone. We cannot do it alone. All this, you're just being weak. You're just being needy, or this or that. It's rubbish. We all, all of us are seeking that. All of us need that. We're not computers. We're not superhuman. Well, we are superhuman because we can heal ourselves. We can.
Mm-hmm.
But we just need a little bit of backing. That's all.
That's it.
We really do. Ah.
Most definitely.
I think I've talked enough.
Thank you for those words of wisdom, my queen. I'm going to be dashing off to another interview, but love you all. And as always, it's been a blast, as we used to say back in the day.
Most definitely.
A blast. Thank you, both of you. I'm going to leave the show with Shezzie again. We pray. Because I just think it's fitting to play We Pray for the end of this song. Because we just got to learn to pray some more.
Yes.
The power of prayer is.
Yes.
Pray. Just pray. Prayer is very powerful.
Yes, it is.
We are formed in the image of God, and I don't think some of us realize how powerful our words and our actions are. We just pray, a lot of our life can change.
That's right.
A lot of our life can change. So I'm going to pray. Thank you, Mr. Gary Hines.
Thank you, Queen.
Wonderful to see you this week.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, DJ Pizzadeli. Lovely to see you.
All right, lovely to see y'all. Catch y'all next week.
And you're both looking so well. I must say that you're both looking very well. So
thank you.
Thank you. As are you, Queen Adasa.
Oh, I try, Mr. Gary.
No, you don't have to try. You got it like that. Like Aretha said, a natural woman.
I receive it. I receive it. It's full of glory. Thank you. Everyone, we're going to be back next week, this time with another guest. And if you can't wait long enough next week, this time to the After 8 show, then catch me on Sunday with Debonair in the house, Sunday at 11 a.m. UK time. You can catch up with the repeat as well. So tell your family, tell all your friends about the After 8 show and catch up with Shezzie. We'll be putting the recorded show right after now. So take care of yourself, take care of each other. Gary?
Yes. You too, Queen Adasa.
All right. Peace and blessings, y'all.
All right, y'all.
Thank you. We pray.
so clear to see. Global warfare, death and strife. Racial wars are never won. Lord have mercy, thy will be done. We pray thy kingdom come to live right in this time now is wrong. In my generation, we need a realization. This is a sticky situation. Revelation. In my generation, don't you know if you're lost, there's a cost. You have to answer to the boss.